Now, just want to see if this is recording. Yes, it is. Okay. Now, we learned what needs to go into our thinking when we manage, because management has to have a background of a certain management theory, so that we can base our move. We can base the way we move with how we manage our people based on a certain theory. Sometimes these theories just happen, just happen without us actually um, beginning to identify a theory. We just find ourselves into a certain management category, which at some point maybe we never maybe we never predefined before, but then it just happens. Okay, now this learning unit pushes us a little bit further than that. It says, now you know your business, you know the business you are running, you know your management theories. You put people together, you organized your business into an organization that is running. Every position is filled, and now we are moving forward. But then the question is, with what we are doing every day in our business as a business, what are the factors that we need to also know about? We need to be careful of, and what are the factors that we need to understand as factors that impact our decisions every day? And when we're making decisions for our business, what sort of push and the pulling factors that we need to first analyze carefully before we can actually say, yes, we are making this decision, and this decision is going to work for us. We are happy with it, and we see longevity in it. We see us being sustainable because our decision is a very good business decision. We need to understand that. And now this means that we don't do as we wish as a business. We make decisions that are not going to let us down at some point, decisions that are going to help us move forward and be sustainable and be profitable and sustain our business for a long term. Now, where do we start looking? How do we know that indeed our decision is a very good strategic decision, that our markets are going to understand, everyone associated with us is going to understand, and we're going to benefit from their liking of our strategy, and they will fall for it, they will love us for it? How do we know? The knowledge comes from the environments in which we perform, or in which we operate, in which our business is operating. And these environments are unavoidable. They need to be there for us to know them, and we need to learn about them, and we need to understand how they affect us as a business. Now, these environments are there for us to ensure that we make our decisions based on how these environments are either going to be affected by our decisions, or our decisions are going to be affected by the movements in these environments. Now, the environments are broken down into three, and this is the mantra of learning unit number 3. They're broken down into three because they have different functions that they do, and they have different levels of effects that can affect us into as a business. So we need to unpack those. And in today's session, we're going to unpack all of these to try and understand their difference, their levels, and how impactful um, the situations that may be in this environment can be into to us as a business. So every time when we sit and we analyze our business, we analyze it based on, hey, the what if scenario. What if things like this happen? What if something like that changes? What are the grounds from which we can base our decision? So these are the factors that are going to assist us to make those decisions. The first one is the micro environment, which is which is now followed by the market environment, and then later on we will deal with the macro environment. Good evening. How are you, sir? Um, yes, yeah, yes, Arno. Or were you just greeting, or you wanna tell us some great news that the petrol is no longer going up or something? Were you just greeting, Arno? Okay. Right. If you need to tell us something nice, you are you are more than welcome to raise your hand and then share some great news. We can do with great news. Now, the first element that we need to deal with is the micro environment. And there's a reason why we deal with the micro environment first, is because without the micro environment, there's no business. So, so there's no us. We are not we are not visible anywhere. We are nothing. Without the micro environment, there's no us. There's no business. There's no management. There's no product. There's nothing. Why? Because everything starts with what is inside, what is within, what is inside of the organization is going to spread out into what is outside there. Before anyone else, the customer can know that there's this business existing in this world, we have to have that business visible. So the business visibility depends on the micro environment. Now, the micro environment is the environment that we have full control of. This is the environment that um, we can touch, we can twist, we can change. This is the environment that we build. We are a business. This is what we sell. This is how we produce our product. This is how we distribute. This is how we manage our processes and the activities inside of our business. Therefore, this is us now making those calls of saying our business must look like this. This is how our business must look like, and that's it. Okay, but now we need to understand what are those elements. What do we need to look at, and what do we need to do? Because earlier on we were dealing with, yes, yeah, we have chosen this kind of management. This is how we're going to manage our business, and this is how we're going to manage our people. And we have dealt with all the management activities. We have planned everything. We organized everything, and now we need to we now need to get the machine rolling. We need to get the plane off the ground, but how do we do that? We need to go a little bit back, especially to the organizing part of our businesses. Say, we have everyone here now. Let us set the scheme correctly. Let us set the path so that no one is confused with anything. And we set the path that is going, that we're going to all follow and it's going to give us the direction into how do we reach our goals at the end of the day. Now, the microenvironment says this is the environment in which the business functions are allocated. We sit and we are saying, how big are we? Okay, we are big enough. If we are big enough, then let's break down our business into compartments. Firstly, we may say, uh, what is our mission? What is our vision? What are the strategies and the goals that we're going to follow to ensure that we reach our vision, and we have a good mission in place. For us to do that, we need to have planned the whole spectrum of the business and say, this is our vision, and this is the mission and the strategy that we're going to follow in order for us to reach our goals. Now, what is that vision? That vision of that need that we have in our mind, that space, the lights that we are seeing there in front of us. This is where we want to get, and now we're going to find ways of getting where we want to get. So we have the vision, and the vision has a statement. Every single company in the world has a statement, and in that vision, we saw that businesses are choosing either they want to go inside out or they want to go outside in, meaning they have to find the corner which they're going to say, this is our corner of thinking. We are thinking of going based on the capacity of the resources that we have, or we are saying, hey, listen, we have enough money. We listen to our customers. They tell us what they want. We make the capacity available and the resources available. And then from there, we're saying for us to get to that vision of ours, this is the mission that we're going to follow. And we're going to now go back to the strategies of the theories that we had and devise some means of getting the best strategy of us going there. Mr. Potter says you need to choose. Are you going to compete with the product differentiation, or are you going to compete with pricing or cost, or which element are you going to choose? And what is your brand going to be known for? Okay. Now, we also have the resources, and which may be divided into the tangible resources, which are the physical resources that we have in our business, and the intangible ones. The intangible ones meaning the rules, the regulations, the everything else that assists us into building our business, but then which is not tangible. But for us to move forward, we need to then divide our business into the compartments. Maybe we're going to say we're going to have a purchasing team which is going to help us to buy the raw materials and the products that we need. We need admin that's going to make sure that all our activities have a paper track, and we're going to have HR that is going to help us to manage people, to hire people, to train people, and to manage the finances that goes into people. We know what skills we need from which people, who qualifies for which position, and how much are we paying. Those kind of salary negotiations and training and disciplinary hearings and all that comes from HR. Then we are secured in that area. Then who's going to talk for us? Who's going to be our mouthpiece? We must have the PR that deals with maybe the media or anything else that needs to go out there communicatively. And the PR is going to help us together with marketing. If it's product related, marketing will take over. If it's announcement business announcements and general business announcements, then our PR is going to help us to do that. General management, meaning they just have to be that department that takes care of everything. Um, take care of all that we need to take care of inside of our business, because otherwise if we don't do that, then we won't have control. If we go back to our activities, then we need to have control. And then Francis says intangible business reputation, for example. Yes, Woolworths have a reputation for excellent quality. That reputation helps increase business market share. Yes. So Woolworths, for example, knows Woolies knows the customers that they're going to come and buy from them. If you go to Woolies and you go around the shelves and you put your hand in the pocket, remove some few pennies, count them twice, go back and check the price again. They already know. That one is not ours. That one. They already know. So they have their own niche that they are. I will tell you a story one day in our next session, if you can remind me about the funny thing about that Woolies bread. Now, general management is going to help us to manage all those kind of and that it is going to help us manage the need to control, to have control, and knows who reports to who and who replaces who if what happens. So that is the micro environment. We need tomorrow we change. Today we working with this. Tomorrow we change. So this is under our control, and we are happy with what we do. If something changes out there, and then we can come back and change again. We can change our mission. We can change our vision. It's what we can control. It's what we want to do now, and then we go on and we do. That is our micro environment. But immediately after our micro environment, there is the market environment. Now, this is the environment that we have learned over the years, that is the environment that you cannot change much. So this is the environment that although you see, you watch, you understand, you research, you know about them, you cannot change much. Like you cannot directly change this environment. How? You can't tell your competitors how to brand their new product. You can't tell your consumers how to spend their money on you, but you can work with your micro environment and create some great strategies that can indirectly change the perception of the market environment. So we can influence what happens in the market environment by the way we conduct our business. Like what Franco has said, to say there's a reputation at Woolies, meaning Woolies didn't go to any competitor and say, hey, listen, change this and I will change that. Woolies just changed the way they do business. I remember they added their market line, I think a decade or two ago, to say we're no longer selling clothes anymore. We need to add the food product because there's a niche for food product, and it's so successful. So competition now has to rethink their strategies because of what Woolies has done. So it's another example of showing that now you can actually influence what happens in the market environment, but without directly changing. Now, competitors, for example, some competitors compete with us via the brand. They are the same brand and they sell the same thing. So it's about the brand for the customer. Which one am I choosing? Am I choosing Toyota or am I choosing a Nissan, for example? So it's the brands are similar. They are competing directly, like the cell phones. Nokia is competing directly with Samsung. So it's about a customer to choose which one to buy based on the brand that is there. Some are competing via the product. They just bring in a substitute product, for example, and you either buy the original product from a favorite brand, or you go for a substitute product that looks similar to that one but it's not that one. You just have to go and choose. Some people go for the generic, while some people go for the need. For example, I am thirsty now, and my thirst is not your thirst, and your thirst is not his thirst, because when you're saying I'm thirsty, someone is thinking of maybe two Johnny, maybe two fly fish, and then I'm thinking of water, and then maybe I don't know if is thinking of just going to the tap and hoeing water and drinking. Maybe I'm thinking of leech, and then I can just go to the garage and buy leech. So thirst is not the same for everyone. So now, but then there's a competition. Every one of these competitors are waiting to say, yeah, it's hot now. People are going to get thirsty. Let's make noise and say, hey, whenever you are thirsty, remember us. Come and buy from us. So to quench that thirst, everyone think of whatever their favorite is, and they're going to. But we whatever we're going to buy, me and you, whatever we're going to do is going to quench that thirst, whichever way. So we just choose how to deal with the thirst. Okay. And now we also have suppliers. Suppliers are of utmost importance because um, suppliers, without a supplier, my beautiful people, we are nothing. If you cannot find a supplier for the product that you are selling, the supplier that is reliable, the supplier that is you know what, is there for you and can give you the quality that you need for you to give out the quality that your customers need, then you are nothing. And Franco, you're also right when you say pharmaceuticals as well. You choose. It's either you go for the cheap stuff, even in the car parts. You choose. The options are there for you. There's a part for 1,500, and there's the same part for for 600 bucks. So, but you know, when you buy that, what the consequences are. So you know what you're buying. So yeah, you make that decision. In pharmaceuticals as well, the same thing. But then in terms of suppliers, no one can survive without a reliable supplier. And even if we look at what is happening now in the political space, we can see the importance of suppliers because, I learned that oil is of utmost importance. I didn't know this before the war, that we actually survive because of oil, because without oil, not many things can be manufactured. And oil has become so, like, it has been so important. I didn't know, guys. Tell you the truth. I just thought, oil is just oil. Hey, but now I know that actually oil can stop us from living if we are being suffocated with oil, because even though you are not directly ordering oil, um cooking oil, no, not that one, not that one. No. I'm talking about the oil in Iran, the oil that people are killing each other for. So it's so important that I got to understand, okay, actually, even if you're not dealing with oil, you're not working with oil, there's something in your business that needs oil. Something somewhere in your business that needs oil. And many productions that are happening in the entire world, be it a computer, be it a door handle, be it anything, an iron ore, it has to be produced by a machine somewhere. And most machines that are in this entire planet uses oil. At some point, there have to be something that has to use oil. So wherever you are, you may get short delivered with something, and they tell you, "Hey, listen, we couldn't produce enough because we couldn't get the raw material from this supply because the supplier said their machines are skeletal now because there's no oil." And now I also saw this morning that there's a possibility that diesel can go high with a whopping 7 rand 41 cents. I've never heard of that. I've heard of 3 rand, a maximum of 4 rand 50, but 7 rand. Ay, this one is new. Why? Because there's a delay and there's a backlog. There's what in supply chain we call the bullwhip effect. Something is happening somewhere, and now everyone is going to feel the but so suppliers are extremely important. You need to extend a certain relationship with your suppliers. You need to be their loyal customer, because now as we speak, even Iran themselves, now as we speak, they are closing that passage there, but they are opening it for their loyal customers. So we need to be a business that has loyalty so that our suppliers can remember us in times of fire like this one. Okay. We also have intermediaries. These are the people that um, go out there and connect people. I've read an article from what is called business, small business in the Karoo somewhere, called the what is it called again? The Oryx salt, from started by this lady who wanted to sell, and then the business was growing, but she couldn't sell to Pick and Pay and this and that because she didn't know the processes, and it had to take the whole of her time, and until she got other people to come in and help. So there are people who are always there as intermediaries to come in and assist in terms of this. There are merchants, there are agents, there are facilitators, and they are there. And the shipping agents, yes, you're right, and the service providers. These people are always available to come in and assist. They are there to bridge the gap between businesses and the wholesalers, and people that can sell for you. MTN, when they went to Nigeria, they didn't know who to approach, who to talk to, but they found intermediaries in Nigeria who said, "Oh, okay, it's fine. Come, we will help you with the negotiations with the governments and this and this and that." Those people are also very important. We need to take care of them, and the social, cultural as well. The consumers as well. Most important, we need to have our consumers abreast of our business. We need to make them understand what we are trying. Remember what Mr. Ramel says: when you pick a strategy with wording that is not fluff, the wording that speaks to what everyone else can understand. So your strategy needs to be understood by your customers. They say when we build a business culture, we need to start with the stakeholders. Find out first what the stakeholders enjoy from us, they like from us, and we build the culture from there going backwards. Otherwise, we're going to have to force things on them. We need to make sure that they are happy with what we are giving them, then we build our products based on their happiness, because when they are happy, it means they'll come back and buy more from us. Consumers, we have different kind of consumers. We have consumers which are the customers that buy from us and they consume the product. Like the product is not going further than their hands, so they consume our product, they use our product, they're happy with our product. Those, and then it ends there. But then we do have industrial customers. In marketing, we call them business to business marketing. Business to business marketing, we call that process business to business. We know that we are producing product for other businesses to go and use in their businesses, for them to produce their own products. In the case of oil, for example, Sasol is a big buyer of oil. They buy the crude oil, and then but then they use the crude oil to produce petrol in South Africa. And let me ask you a question. Sasol is a South African business, and if the crude oil is going up, up, is Sasol making money or losing money? If you know the answer, you can either type, or you can unmute and tell us the answer. Are they losing money, or are they um are they or are they making money? Yeah, yeah, there you go. Just type your answer in there, and then we will know. All right. It's a, it's a South African company. They're using the crude oil, and the crude oil now is 100 and I think it's 124
How's it?
dollars. Hello.
So quick one. With Sasol is quite a for South Africa quite opposite. So Sasol actually is one of my biggest clients we deal with, and Sasol is the only manufacturer that produces local fuel for in South Africa. So engine, Shell, Aston Energy, they import Sasol creates local fuel. So when the fuel goes more expensive, Sasol gains because they produce locally. But when the fuel goes cheaper, they lose because they produce locally. So for this specific case, it's actually the opposite because of locally manufactured. Although also Sasol is one of the biggest exports of other chemicals
Mm.
like methanols, hexenes, pentanols in South Africa as well. But in generally speaking, other companies like Shell, they lose, yes.
Yeah, thank you for that. Sorry, Arno. Um, but Sasol is milking it now. Like Sasol is now smiling from ear to ear. I remember when I used to work for Sasol many, many years ago in 2008, actually in 2015. Someone told us, Mr. Morris Khadebe told us that, hey, you know what? 10 cents up in the crude oil. Like if they add 10 cent in the crude oil, we are gaining 1 million. So 10 cent of and 10 cent of crude oil price up is equivalent to 1 million at Sasol. So there was a point where the crude oil went under $40 per barrel. So every time the crude oil price goes under 40, Sasol is retrenching. Like there's no other way. They cannot afford to work under those circumstances. So yeah, it's not like when things are getting bad, they're getting bad for everyone. Mm-mm. There are for some it's good news. Like we are happy, we are milking them, we are making money now because so that is what happens in terms of the changes in the environment. So when you're making your decisions, you base your decisions based on you like you based on what are the scenarios? What happens when what happens? And like Francois has said, it's 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 the opposite actually. They are so happy when things like this happen, but then other competitors, yeah, they are crying because it affects them very badly. So those are the market environments, and those are the markets that we need to listen to. We need to understand. We need to gossip about our competitors. Listen to what they are doing because our actions affects them somehow. Look at when the car manufacturers are bringing in a new maybe it's Volvo. Um, Maybe it's Volvo and they're bringing in the new truck. Look at when they are testing it, they cover it, they make sure that no one knows how that Volvo looks like, the horse. Um, they hide it very well because they know, hey, the competitor will see it once. Someone told me some few years ago to say um, he was working at Nissan and in the engineering department, and there's someone who's hired from engineering. That person's job is just to go and sneak sneak peek what the competition is doing in terms of just looking, like, especially in the taxi environment. Immediately, Toyota releases a taxi for commercial use. That person is the person who goes out there and they say they actually go and they buy it. They buy a brand new one. They disassemble the whole taxi, like every little item that goes into that Toyota and latest Toyota. They disembark the, I mean, they disassemble it, they put all the parts on the ground and they check from the engineering's perspective what went into that Toyota, and they're going to produce their own. The only thing they're going to do is to change the look, but they don't change it too much. They just change it slightly, and every other part that went into Toyota goes into Nissan. Yeah, so you need to go around and you check, and they told me that someone is hired exactly just to do that. And when we were working for liquid petroleum products, a company, they said, hey, you must listen to news. You must call your friends from the competitor just to ask. Yeah. Uh, um, how do you what's happening, what you just gossip, we need to gossip in our businesses so that we can understand what the competitor is thinking. And we even ask the customers, the competitors, because some customers we deliver and our competitor delivers there, we go there and we become friends with them and we listen what the competitor is doing, and then we go back and we report. Yeah, it's so bad. It goes so far that a Nissan manufacturer can actually go and buy a Quantum and dismantle it to check what parts went in where, and they do their own. So that is the market, and we need to know who is in the market, and how can we do well in our micro environment to change how they view us, how they think, and to shake them up outside there. Okay. Lastly, um, lastly is the macro environment. In the old days, we used to call it PESTLE, PESTLE, because it sounded so much like that. And this is the biggest now, guys. Whatever you do, how much smart you are, and how good you are with your internal environment, the external environment is just coming for you, because in the external environment you have people who are making decisions because they have the power to make the decisions, and those decisions actually affect us in many way. Does it look like the oil price is dropping below 93 anytime? I doubt. I doubt. It's going to be worse. Arno. It's going to be so much worse than what we are seeing now. As long as the macro environment is still happening, it's going to be so much worse. Just I think 2 months ago it was about 60 61 US dollars, but now look at it. Phew. Yeah, and it's going to affect every single one of us. Actually, it has already started. Whether you know it or you don't, or you are aware of it or not, it's going to affect you and me in many ways than you can think of. Okay. Now, under the macro environment, we have natural or physical, even ecological factors that we need to worry about. They say the increasing cost of energy, growing cost of pollution issues. I remember some few years ago, the government of South Africa said by 2030 we don't want to see this amount of pollution on air, and businesses had to come in. I remember Sasol was one of those that said we need an extension because of our coal and this and that. So we need to take care of our energy. I mean the environments, because otherwise we going to be that we're going to have the sheriff sniffing around us, and at the same time we need to take care of the natural environments, because this is where most of our raw materials are coming from. So our raw materials are coming from the nature, so we can't just destroy the nature at will because we think that it doesn't involve us in that sense. It involves us in many sense. So disclose the current levels of storage. Yes, you see. So now they don't want to disclose because do we even have any reserves? Because I don't know. Huh? I don't know if we even were wise enough to anticipate some things like this for us to have enough reserves. But yeah, so we need to take care of our natural environments, because our natural environments means a lot to us. We cannot destroy them, and then we cannot just think that we are not affected in any way, because our raw materials are coming from there. And we have political. Political is the biggest issue here, because political means people make decisions, and those decisions affect everyone else, because now they are being gazetted, and if you don't listen and follow what that works, what the new gazettes are, then we're going to find ourselves in trouble, because we're not going to get supplies, for example. They're going to slam us with maybe interest rates, for example, and now we cannot afford this and that, and they're going to slam us with tariffs, for example, to say in the SADC we are now, if South Africa sells to Botswana, South Africa must pay 50% tariffs. So already that it's a big no, because otherwise we won't be able to afford to run the business anyway. We also have technological issues. We've seen how big businesses died because of the lack of technological awareness. I don't know if it's awareness or is the lack of respect for technology, or is it maybe the lack of understanding of the magnitude of technology, especially in supply chain, for example. If you don't use technology, you're going to lose track of your inventories, in the track of your stock. Your trucks are going to get missing very quickly. Your stock is going to get missing because you don't use technology that speaks to what is happening out there. And I've seen something about a company called it's a Korea company. I forgot the name of that company, and they've structured their routes in a way that every time they travel, 75% of the time they're turning left. So they go in routes that will only allow them to turn left, 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 because the more you turn right is the more you're going to waste a lot of it's FedEx. Aha, there you go. And there's another one who copied this as well. So they always turn left, and it saved them a lot of time and a lot of petrol, because every time you turn to the left, you most probably will have to wait for another car to pass first. And then now you're going to be in traffic. So technology tells us that, hey, listen, this is your route, this is the sequence of your customers, and you must travel this way until you finish, and then you can come back. And economics as well, the economy of the world speaks volume about how we do things. Once the economy drops a little bit, it's not just us as businesses who must worry. It's every single individual. They start reshuffling their financial decisions, and once they start holding hard to their cash, it means they are not going to buy, and then the businesses are not going to get any revenues there. So the economics plays a big part of of the businesses that we run, because we may run out of we may run out of products to sell because no one is buying. They will go for the cheap products that you mentioned earlier on. We go for the cheap medicals. As long as I can get well, it's fine, man. I will just go, I will just limp and get to where I want to get, because I cannot afford to buy the expensive one. And we also have international factors, the international factors that we need to worry about. Right now, the biggest problem is the globalization. Imagine if you are buying your goods from China, and China cannot get the oil. It means China cannot produce your products. It means the plane that delivers the product from China to Johannesburg, it cannot fly, because the business is saying we cannot afford the price of the jet fuel. So instead of having 10 planes on air each day, we would rather have five, or things like that. Meaning the bullwhip effect is happening. The supply chain is getting delayed, and the social and cultural, especially in. I always thought that African countries have the greatest social beliefs and this and that, but hey, other countries as well, and some wars actually that are happening and have been happening throughout the world, were based on social and cultural beliefs. Like, it's not easy to move away from that. So when we are businesses, we need to understand the social beliefs of the communities in which we perform, or we run our businesses, because there's a determination of how far we can get with our business, and how do people need our product, and how do people consume our product. There are those cultures in which you can eat pork. So imagine you are in that vicinity and you just build a pork factory. Just imagine. We will bury you very soon. We will bury you very soon, because you are now interfering with people's cultures. Yes, they're not eating your pork, they're not gonna buy from you, but you are building this here. You can't be making us smell pork every day here when we don't eat it. So there are those kind of cultural issues in Lesotho. they don't sell that Volkswagen Polo. Don't tell me why, and don't ask me why, but they don't sell it at all. Polo. They changed the name from from Polo to something else because there's a reason why. Go and investigate. This is your homework. I gave you a homework. I want an answer. When we meet again, you must tell me why in Lesotho they removed the term, the word polo from that golf. Is it a golf? And then they put something else there. So you can't mess with people's cultures. And lastly, the demographics. Population growth is one of those reasons why we need to always look at ways of restructuring our business. I have this very old example that I've always used in my sessions when it comes to this one, because when this velocity, the Golf One, was first introduced, it was introduced for ladies, ladies who are entering the working field. They need to buy it, and it's something that can save them fuel. But guess what? It attracted male consumers. Males started buying it. They started dropping it. They started changing the wheels. And no lady wanted to buy it anymore. So it was a change in the market, and the consumer taste changes. We need to look at those, the age, the and the age gender competitions, and every guy, yes, everyone wanted the city golf. Like, if you didn't drive a city golf, no, man, you are not in style, man. You are not, you don't belong, man. You need to buy a city golf but it wasn't manufactured for you, actually. Sorry, it was manufactured for the girls, the girls who starting to work and they have some moolah. Actually, that was even advertised for them. Oh, all of a sudden, then we took over. And now, today, as we speak, men carry handbags. Men carry handbags around, and now there are handbags that are manufactured specifically for the men. Things that we were saying, I remember in 2023, I had this student who was not feeling well, and I carried her bag. Like, I carried her bag, and we were going down the stairs at the campus, and all the male students were laughing at me. Sir, what are you doing? You can't be carrying a bag like that. But today, men are carrying bags, and they have their own designers, and they like them. They make it public. So so now it's is it's demographics, guys. Things are changing, and they change in a way that you could have never imagined. So we need to move and move with time, guys. Sorry for overlapping. We just took a little bit of time before we could start, but I see now it's 20:38. Anyone who wants to share with us anything regarding what we spoke about? Yeah, man, I was carrying that bag, and the boys were laughing at me. They were calling me names and this and that. But today, now I can freely go and buy a bag and then carry it around the way I want to. And no one is going to tell me anything. I'm telling you guys. So that comes from the consumer. That comes from the consumer. I mean, it comes from the demographics. The demographics are changing, and there's nothing we can do about it. It's the way it is now. And someone was telling me that no, everything you see now, it used to happen many years ago, 1,000 years ago, and we never know. But things are changing, and things can change very quick, very quick. And but as businesses, we need to adapt. If men want handbag, guys, produce handbags and give them, sell them, they will buy most. Yeah, if a man want a handbag, produce it. and send it and sell it to them. Why not? If there's money out there, then let's make money. That's how businesses make their money. They say, oh, why not? We will sell. I remember when I was working for Coke, I was driving and delivering some products. I was driving a truck, delivering products in Joburg, and there was this guy. I don't know where those guys are coming from, Brazil or what, and they gave me some meat. Very nice meat, and I was eating. When I was done, they say, "Yeah, you South Africans, you say I don't eat snake. I don't eat snake. That is a black mamba that you just ate now there." And you know what? I enjoyed chowing that thing. But then they told me, yeah, it's a black mamba. Here is the container. They actually imported that thing from somewhere. I don't know from where. And then, yeah, nothing happened. I chowed it. You see, I'm even happy that I chowed the black mamba one day. So things are just happening exactly like that. Is there anyone who wants to share with us anything before we close for the day? But in summary, that is what we need to look at from the three environments: the micro, the market, and the macro environment. Anything from anyone? Great evening to all of you. If there's nothing else, Francha is still typing, but if there's nothing else from the floor, I am happy um, to listen to what Arno is typing, and then we can call it a day. Good luck with all the assignments that you are writing, guys. Try and make it work. Make it work. Thank you so much, and bye bye.